I wonder what you mean when you use the word I.
I could be a fucking crescent roll and a chevron right now, son.
That would be the least bit surprised to learn that all four of them habitually smoke marijuana cigarettes.
The bizarre nature of this fucking strange thing called life.
As you know, we always keep this thing on the DL.
Hello, and welcome back to the fourth episode of On the DL. This is Conversations with Creators, and I'm coming at you every single week with a brand new type of creator, even though every single one's been a comedian except for the third one. Today, I have with me I don't know, what would you call yourself? I don't know what he is. His name is Mike Spies, and
Spies.
Spies, damn it. I was hoping it was Mike Spies because I saw a porno and it was Mike Spies on Girl Next Door.
Some kid did that to me in high school. I got my paper back and someone had written Mike Spies on his mom.
Mike Spies on his mom in the shower.
First getting bullied.
We got some whiskey, so we're going to pour up.
Po up.
Ooh, you hear that cork? That's some good shit.
Did you do the honors?
Yeah,
Thanks, sir.
no problem. All right, cheers.
Hey, cheers. Gingane.
Oh shit, I'm stupid.
It's bad luck if you don't take a sip.
I bet it is. I've seen people do that, and they're usually the worst kind of people.
Just set their drink straight down.
Yeah. They're like, cheers. What? You're just sitting there? That's the whole point. All right. So Mike, I met Mike, recently did his comedy show, or variety show. It's called the Nerdy Thursday Variety Show in Fullerton, Mulberry Street. If you weren't there, you fucked up. How'd you get started? Like, what does it take to make your own, like, comedy show? How did you get in there?
Nerdy Thursday started, it's the longest running variety show in Fullerton. And it started by a couple of dudes like Jesse and Andy and Brian. And I jumped in a little bit later. And we had the spot at Mulberry. And they said, go on, do whatever you want. And it's morphed into doing videos. We've had tons of good bands come through, hip-hop artists. We had some people do poetry. Originally, when they told me to come on, I was going to do poetry.
Really?
Stupidly.
No, no, that's
poetry.
poetry.
And
that's where all the girls are at.
I got told not to do poetry, so I did comedy, and I just stuck with it. Just rolled with it. I'd originally started out doing it because I was trying to get over my fear of public speaking, and I was taking like a public speaking class.
Yeah. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. For me, I was never afraid of making I was never afraid to make a fool of myself. So, I mean, I always felt like I could go up on stage and say whatever just because I don't feel like what people think of me is as important when you're on stage and speaking, because everybody's afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
You know, people are, at least give you the benefit of they at least give you the benefit of like, oh shit, sorry. We forgot to turn the light off.
Gotcha.
Let's restart that.
Yeah, no worries.
Wow. My bad. All right, and we're back. I fucked up in about 4 different ways right now. First of all, I said I wasn't afraid of public speaking or making a fool of myself. And then the second I made a fool of myself, I turned it off and said we were going to restart. But we're not restarting because we're about that real shit here. All right?
Real.
That real. We're taking it fucking out to the street, dude. We're not even fighting. but we're taking it out to the street because it's trash day tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
To the curb.
To the curb. But yeah, what I was saying is that on stage, for me, it's a different thing of like, if I make a fool of myself, then there's just always next time on stage. I'm more afraid to make a fool of myself in front of my friends
Ah,
than I am. Like, I've always been a little bit more quiet in my friend groups. Then when I get on stage, I'm a lot more present, and I have almost like more charisma.
well, when you seemed hella natural when you were at Nerdy.
Thanks, dude.
Props, man. Good set.
I appreciate that. That was the most fun, by far the most fun I've ever had doing comedy. So, and there's been some cool open mics I've been to, without, I mean, being my first actual show, that wasn't, like, I had no idea whether or not I was going to get up. So much more relaxing
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, Mulberry is super, like, welcoming and good crowd. And plus you get, hecklers and the side noise from the bar folks.
Yeah. Who literally, like, are 10 feet away but have no idea that a comedy show's going on. Barely even listening.
Yeah, you got to come back.
Yeah, dude. I'll be happy to come back if you guys want me to. I got new stuff that I need to work on, but I haven't worked on yet, so it's probably all gonna be new shit. Hopefully. I don't like repeating stuff. Like, even at open mics, if I go to the same open mic, like 2 days in a row or at the same place, and I know that the same people are gonna be there, I always try to do different shit. Even if it's like, well, you gotta perfect what you already have. I'm just afraid to, like, show people that already know the punchlines, just like random different ways of changing the punchlines.
Yeah, agreed. I try to switch it up every month. So, sometimes I feel like I'm writing jokes for Leno or, Tonight Show or something, because they tend to be more topical when I'm doing it once a month at the same place with the same crowd of lovely people at Mulberry.
Yeah, and they are really nice people. Bartender was super nice. Everybody else that was involved in the show was super welcoming to me, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a good crowd. Now it's just we have lineup changes throughout the years. People move away, so now it's me, Jesse Latour, and Mondo Cosio, and Gage Johnson, and we're there every month.
Yeah, dude.
And Tim, our sound guy. Gotta give props.
Yeah, was he there?
Yeah.
On Thursday?
Yeah.
You did my sound though, or you did?
Tim runs all the sound equipment. I just DJ.
Okay. I probably met Tim. I'm sorry, Tim, if you're listening to this. How long have you been doing comedy?
Since I started at Nerdy Thursday, it's probably been like 8 to 10 years. Peppered in a few open mics here and there, and then I, just coming off doing the improv, looking to do more.
Yeah, that was a fun night also.
Yeah, it was a blast.
So yeah, that was gonna be my next question though, was how many open mics do you do? Like, how often do you go? Do you prefer to stick to the Nerdy Thursday, or do you kind of just like...
Nerdy's like, yeah, it's like home. It's like my little comfort place. So I tend not to stray too far, but, after doing improv, I'm looking to expand, Oh, good friends tell me, all the time I got to come do shows out in LA. So,
Yeah. The open mics out there, like, they seem scary. They seem intimidating.
yeah.
And in a sense they are, because there are a lot of people there that are so mean. Like, they don't want to give you any laughs because they want all the laughs. They want you to do bad. Whereas the OC, I've noticed there are a lot of people that will support you based off the type of person you are. Like, there are a lot of good people.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of support for comics. There's like a network. There's more of a network. Whereas people in LA, they just know each other. Maybe they talk about which open mics they go to or whatnot. But I don't see I don't see many people that are friends that show up to open mics together or have become friends through doing comedy. That doesn't happen as much.
True. Yeah, I've noticed that out here. It's not super cutthroat, and it's always welcoming. And I haven't really done LA, but looking to.
Yeah, dude, I'll take you out to Flappers next time. Next time I have a Friday or Saturday off. That's a fun place to do an open mic.
Okay. Appreciate it.
They have a guy. Who was the guy that read the newspaper?
Oh, Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah.
That's Jesse Latour?
Yeah.
Okay. For sure. I got all their names mixed up. I've only met him once and I was super drunk. But they have a guy that does something kind of similar.
Okay.
His act is almost always the same. But he does like weird shit. Like he'll get on the mic and he doesn't say anything. And he'll just look at everybody, look around the room, and then he puts a windscreen on like one of these on the mic.
All right.
And it's like green. It'll be like the random color, and people are like, usually people are just like, yo, what the fuck's this guy doing? And then he goes, can we use our notes? And, people in the crowd know him, so they're like, yeah, use the notes. Pulls out his backpack. Pulls out a giant notepad. Looks at it for a second, goes, oh. Sets it on the stool.
Yeah.
And then pulls out like a pencil pouch. Opens up the pencil pouch and pulls out a notepad that's like 2 inches by 3 inches. It's super tiny, and he just opens it up and then he starts doing his set.
Fuck yeah.
It's really funny. And I love
A little Kaufman-esque.
yeah. I noticed there are a lot of people that was Kaufman just crazy though? Because there are people out there that are really funny that do that. And it feels organic, even though it's a Kaufman-esque thing.
Yeah. Yeah, probably comes natural to people. I'm a fan of those guys. They, especially the ones where like the rumors come up where like, oh, they faked their death and, now they're, living somewhere else. My favorite new one is that Tom Hanks is Michael Rockefeller, the heir to the Rockefeller fortune.
I believe it.
Yeah, because the original story was that he got eaten by cannibals or something, and then the United States had the biggest search and rescue mission ever in the history of search and rescue missions, and they couldn't find him. And then he had a huge life insurance policy. I dig that
Really?
kind of,
You
So,
know-
props to people who fake their death and pull it off.
Yeah. This podcast was almost a conspiracy podcast. That's why it's called On the DL, was because I was going to bring people on and kind of give them the spiel on some conspiracy theories.
My man.
Hell
Met your
yeah.
match. I stay up late listening to that kind of shit. And gets me into trouble.
Want some more ice for that?
Just got iced, bro.
Just got ice, dude. Ice, no Smirnoff. They made me what's the weirdest thing, before I tell mine, what's the weirdest thing that you've ever seen at a comedy show? Like somebody's, like, whereas like the crowd trying to get somebody to do something and they do it, or just like in general, someone that intended to do something really weird. Like, what's the weirdest thing that you've seen at a comedy show? Open mic or not?
Back when usually Nerdy Thursday has like a lot of themes, and one of the nights we had a ladies' night, and guy Brian Lisette comes out. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And true to the theme, ladies' night, he comes out wearing a dress and a drink. He had kind of a beer belly at the time.
Nice.
And one of the people in the crowd were like, "Ah, I thought you weren't supposed to drink when you're pregnant."
It's a big man.
it threw him off a little, and then he kept making jokes and going up to girls saying that their periods were syncing up. And he kept like,
Pretending he's like some like medium or like a zodiac expert or something like that.
yeah, with these crystals here.
Oh yeah, dude.
You're a rock person?
I was when I was a kid. I haven't had these out on display anywhere, like in my room or in my house, until I decided to do this podcast.
Like geodes?
Yeah, I have a few.
People are into rocks these days. Ladies are.
Rocks.
And,
I know. I got some friends that are into cocaine.
pet rocks. Oh, yeah. Cocaine, yeah. No bueno.
Not
Only
good.
in Vegas. I'm moving to Nevada.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I've never done cocaine in my life. I don't plan on it, but a lot of people think the way my pupils dilate sometimes, they think I'm on cocaine.
Cops.
Cops. Yeah. Never been pulled over, thank God.
Really?
Yeah.
Ever?
Never.
Been in an accident?
I've been in an accident. One was I've been in two accidents. One was totally my fault, where I actually slammed on the brakes too late and someone hit me from behind. So I got the check. It wasn't exact, like they didn't call it my fault on paper. And then another one where this chick had tons of room in front of her, but she slammed on the brakes, which was then my fault. But it really wasn't my fault because this chick had nobody in front of her, and I'm pretty sure she was just trying to get the paycheck.
Damn. Yeah, I had never been pulled over. I got let off with a warning once. I was just transferred to a new high school, and everyone was peeling out, and I had my old Isuzu truck, and I tried to gun it, and we were like chasing each other on the freeway, and let me off with a warning. But then I got a misdemeanor once for doing graffiti, and so when I was on probation, it was like immediately. Every time they ran my plates, they'd pull me over. And I was
Damn.
like, just trying to deliver pizza.
Oh, I mean, they are sneaky like that. I've had cops pull up behind me, and I could tell they were like running my number or running my plates, and then they just didn't do anything. I used to drive like a blown out white 95 Chevy fucking Suburban,
Okay.
and it was loud as fuck.
Tagged.
The back windows were tinted, so I would get cops coming up behind me all the time, and I could tell that they were following. Like, they would make the left turn that I was making, and then that would give them enough time to run my plates, and they would literally just like go the other way before the light even turned green.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happened to me a couple times.
Yeah, I had that old Isuzu pickup truck, and yeah, I was the guy that I got into my older years, and I was like the only person that still had their truck from high school. And I was like, yeah, time to move up. So
Yeah. Yeah, what do you drive now?
Honda Civic.
Nice. I drive a Hyundai Sonata.
Oh, nice.
I almost went with
We're
the
related.
Civic, actually. Yeah. Well, no.
No,
No.
they sound related.
People get the names mixed up. They call mine like a Hyundai because they think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uneducated fucks.
Whoops.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not concerned with it.
So how come you didn't make this conspiracy podcast?
There's a couple reasons. One, it's super polarizing.
Yeah.
Your audience is very limited, and I understand that's kind of what you got to do in comedy anyways, is not try to appease everybody. I know that the fact that it's limited isn't really like the biggest deal, but for me, it limits me to a group that I'm not really interested in targeting.
And having them target you.
Exactly. and then yeah, just like the static I would get for being that kind of guy from the government and just people that think conspiracy theorists are crazy.
Yeah. You get banned from YouTube real quick if you
Yeah.
hit the right nerve.
Yeah. My crowd is like I'm trying to be the new age Don Rickles.
Okay.
I'm not that quick though, so that's the problem. I just love Don Rickles, and I love the way that those guys used to dress. Just super dapper, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. You should have told me to wear a suit. I would have.
Yeah, no, I don't. This is the first time I think I've actually dressed nice for my podcast. Last time I was just wearing a jacket, fucking, just chilling.
Yeah. Classy. I mean, you got the old school Coors.
Got the old school Coors, and not only that, but the Tommy gun,
Tommy.
which would have been my weapon if I was born in the 30s.
Safety always off.
Never on, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Safety.
When I used to live in Colorado, there was a hike, and you could go see the mountain that was on the Coors Light can.
Hell yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I kind of always thought that that was just something that somebody thought of because it's so perfect. It looks so perfect.
Pristine.
Yeah. That is a beautiful place.
You got a favorite beer?
Pacifico.
Pacifico.
Yeah, I'm not an IPA guy. I'll drink a Coors or Coors Light when, especially like when they're on sale and it's like $20 for a 36 pack. I'll definitely drink that. But I'm a lot more of a whiskey guy than beer. What about you?
I like trying out breweries and stuff, but Coors Light's the go-to dad beer, the beer we drink when we get together with the family.
Yeah. And it's the best when you go to some place like the river, or if you're on a hike and you want to have a couple beers, you have to bring Coors Light because it's mostly water.
Cold Frosties, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
my relatives live up by the American River, and yeah, it's always, one or two beer road, going down to the river.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing something that kind of strains your energy and then like completing it and then having a beer when your stamina's a little low and your energy's a little down and your muscles are worked, it feels really good. It's probably not good for you, but it's really good. It feels good.
A lot of people do those beer runs where you're chugging beers at the end,
Yeah.
getting those calories back.
Yeah. Do you ever go to the river, like the Colorado River? I know it's-
I'm mostly the American River guy. I, grew up rafting.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tried kayaking once. Would do it again. Jumping off rocks and stuff. Yeah, just got back from Mammoth. Didn't go in the river there though.
Hell yeah. You would freeze. But when were you in Mammoth?
Over Christmas break. Like 2 days after Christmas.
Nice.
And it was a little hectic up there driving. A lot of people were flipping their cars. So
Yeah. People that try to think they can do it without chains.
well, that's the thing is like you can't put chains on when it's like icy, which is the hard part, and that's like where people were flipping.
Oh, really?
So that's
You have to have 4-wheel drive or just drive slow?
you got to drive safe, but 4-wheel drive is the way to go.
Yeah.
So a lot of the old Colorado moves, how to handle the wheel, kind of came back.
That's awesome. How often do you go rafting?
Rafting, that'll be once a summer. I'll go up and see my family up there, and we do a little carnage tour. And it's pretty funny because we have all our own gear and our own rafts, or my family does, and everyone that's going down is all commercial, and they've got helmets on, and we just come down drinking Coors Lights, raise the pirate flag and splash people.
Yeah.
So it's fun. You ever go?
No, I'm mostly Colorado River. Like, I love Parker. That was the first place I ever went when I went to the river. Two totally different kinds of river that we're talking about. Like, Colorado River is in a fucking hot desert area, usually you're probably going in Arizona or Nevada. And those rapids come in cold water most of the time.
Oh yeah.
The water in the Colorado River it's super cold, but it's so hot out that it's just refreshing. And you do a little bit of what's it called, dude?
Dip and dunk.
Yeah, yeah, but fucking water skiing.
Oh yeah.
God damn, dude.
Wakeboarding.
Wakeboarding. You do a little bit of rafting. Like tubing. Do some tubing. That's
Tubing's
always
what's up.
fun.
You ever do where they tie all the tubes together and you're just drinking beer and floating like lazy river style?
Dude, every time I go, I usually go with one of my best friends and his dad, who has a boat, and we would go out there, and just every time we go, we have at least one day that we designate beforehand. Okay, this is going to be the day of the float, and we're going to float for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
We go like all the way. We almost got like all the way down to Havasu. It was crazy, because we started at Needles. I don't know if you know where Needles is. It's kind of like the older white trash area. All places at the river are a little bit white trash, but
Salt
kinda
of the earth.
yeah,
Places.
yeah, it's kind of like the peak white trashness.
You got a boat?
I don't.
No.
My dad did, and my brother does. But yeah, we go with my buddy's dad. He's got a boat, and he's got a really nice place for us to stay. Even though there aren't a lot of like young people our age, they like to have fun. It's mostly people chilling. We have a lot of fun because it's cool. It's calm waters. You can do a lot in the boat. You can go super fast on most days without it getting too choppy. It's a different type of vibe than like, say, like going out on a boat in the ocean. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like how I prefer. Sometimes I prefer Laughlin to Vegas. Older crowd, no one gives you any grief, and you can just gamble, and then or go out on the river.
Yeah.
Vegas is a little too up tempo for me,
Yeah. Vegas
but I'll
is,
still go.
yeah, Vegas is like, until you got real money, you only need to go like once every 2 years, and you get your fill in 3 days for sure. You don't want to stay there for like a whole week. You get your fill pretty quick in Vegas.
Do you gamble?
I play some blackjack.
Got a system?
No.
Ben Affleck?
No,
style?
I'm really bad. I'm really bad. I basically like do the opposite of what a sane person would do almost every time. So like one time I came out with like $100, but then I lost that within the next 2 days. I was
Brutal.
there. Yeah. I lost that plus like another 150.
Ouch.
I'm not playing big money, but
Yeah, it's still.
it
It's
still
a dent.
hurt. It hurts, dude. It hurts. I'm not Crystalia. I'm not saying I got no dents. I got dents.
I like craps.
Oh, really?
Where I do best is like sports gambling.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I can always pick games really well when I'm not betting on them, but every time I do bet on them, I tend to lose. I like overthink it or something. But
Did you see that the Sandy Hook kids that were in that shooting? They recently, I think it's 5 years later, they won the state championship in football.
I did see that in football. Yeah, yeah. That was on Instagram. I think I saw that.
Yeah, I won a lot on that.
Did you really? Oh, dude, there was somebody that actually did. Wasn't that a part of the article too? Like one of the kids' parents
Put money on
put
them.
money on it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Nope. Totally different thing, dude. Totally different thing. I'm so jumbled. It was Joe Burrow's dad from LSU
Ah,
put a
Joey
shit
B.
ton of money on them going to the BCS game, and no, he put money on his kid winning the Heisman.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
He won like $100,000.
I did hear about that.
That's beautiful, man. Talk about support from your
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah. Think he's going first?
Ooh. I don't know. It really depends. Who's got the first pick? Who even would it be this year? I haven't watched as much football as I usually do, but
One team locked it up. I forget who. But
probably no. Is the Bengals probably? I would bet that the Bengals are gonna get it, and they want a quarterback. I don't think Andy Dalton's gonna fucking retire.
big red.
Yeah, I know. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick is just a fucking savage, so the Dolphins might not draft a quarterback, but they also might because he's very inconsistent.
Yeah, my brother just won his fantasy league playing with. He played Brian Fitzpatrick
In the
in the
championship
championship game
against the Patriots. Was it that game against the Patriots, or was it a couple weeks before that? Because usually fantasy leagues end.
week 16. But yeah,
Who did they play?
he wanted to walk into the big party after where he the winning party and have like a Fitzpatrick jersey and play like the champ is here.
Yeah, dude. Him and Ryan Tannehill. Oh, those two old motherfuckers really stepped up this year.
Tannehill was a surprise.
He was, and they took him to the playoffs. They almost. Wait, they did beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
That motherfucker just beat the Patriots. That's insane, dude.
Yep.
That's insane.
Tommy Brady. He's the Tom Brady mix is my favorite mix on Spotify.
Oh, he has his own mix on there?
Hey, this is Tom Brady. You're listening to The GOAT on Spotify.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That's funny. Why?
Hey.
There's probably an endorsement deals there somewhere because he doesn't want to be on Spotify. He's not a public person.
Giselle comes in every once in a while and does a little shout out.
Is that a shout out? She shouts out.
Yeah, that's a Giselle shout out.
Damn, bro, that dude probably lays pipe though. I hope he retires, and I hate him, but I bet he lays pipe.
Yeah.
Dude. Do you think Tom Brady's the devil? Or Bill Belichick?
No, I think he's a good player. And Belichick, he's good friends with Saban. They're both like Croatian or something.
Damn, you think there's like some racist shit going on?
I'm jumping back into football conspiracies.
Yeah.
This will be a conspiracy podcast by the
yeah.
end of the episode.
Somehow, like, the Croatians own, like, the whole, like, football organization where it covers, like, the NCAA and the NFL, and that's why they just get racks and win. It's possible.
Yeah.
Look into it.
Yeah.
Ask Eddie Bravo about it.
Yeah, good shit.
It's a conspiracy. I know you can't hear it. It's a conspiracy.
It is.
Plotting against humanity.
That is frightening.
Does this voice scare you?
It's the voice I hear in my dreams.
I am every voice you have ever heard.
Please stop this. I need to use one of these rocks to heal you. That's a good effect.
Right place. Fuck. Dick.
There you go.
That's better. You wanna try this thing out?
Yeah.
Yo, big ups. Bomba Clat. DJ coming to you live from, where are we?
Glendora?
We up here in Glendora in the foothills. Bow down, big ups. Tom Hanks' son. What's his son's name?
That's a good one. I'm going to look that up. I don't know.
It's a funny name, and he's like a rapper, and
We'll check that out. I'll be my own Jamie.
that up, Jamie? Damn.
Turn it off before you do that. Yeah. Hell yeah. Tom Hanks' son. Chet. It's fucking Chet. Chet and Colin. Oh, God. Who the fuck does Chet?
And it's not. He doesn't even have the last name Hanks, right? It's like Chet Hayes. Yeah, I was doing the Jamaican accent.
Damn,
Did you watch the Golden Globes?
I did. Shout out Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, mad props.
That's some beauty.
He was catching flack on Twitter. I'm kind of addicted to Twitter.com.
Yeah, but that's just fucking New York Times bullshit beef. No, really, the New York Times did say that. Like, they put out an article saying it wasn't funny, and like all this bullshit about it. That was probably the coolest thing that's ever happened at an award show since Kanye told Taylor Swift to fuck off.
Jesus.
Yes.
He's the king of like swooping in on the microphone. So, yeah, props to Ricky, too.
Yeah, but on that about Kanye, like Trump wins presidency and all of a sudden he's got to get a hand. He's got to get all this shit he's got to say. Kanye's taking the spotlight, dude. I don't care who wins what. It's Kanye.
He's still running?
He's still running. Fuck no, dude. Fuck no. Kim wouldn't let him do that.
He's got the new gospel albums.
I didn't listen to the whole thing. Listen to one, or like a third of it. There's one song on there I really like, but it's not really as much of like a Christian song as it's kind of like his pop, like up tempo, old school type of song.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you listen to it?
Heard one or two songs. I listened to the stuff when it was like he was prepping for it and he was doing the live, what was it, Sunday services?
Yeah, he did that at Coachella too or something like that. Or where did you see that? Was it like live in LA?
Yeah, well, I just saw it online.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah. I've never been to Coachella.
Yeah. Me neither.
But was like an old school. I'd been to a few festivals, like old school raves and stuff like that, but not in a long time. So shout out my old school raver people.
Dude, like how old school? Like when you had to go to all the different points to get the rendezvous, you like to you know
I was
what I'm
never
talking
like
about?
pager, bolt cutters, but
Yeah.
it was, it'd be like old bowling alleys or like the old Fox Theater, the old roller skating rinks, the Masterdome in San Bernardino.
Damn. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you know about like how they used to do the raves when they were super underground and illegal?
I just had heard stories, but and seen like a couple movies about it. Like, what was it, Go or?
I don't know what movies they made about it, but one of my first bosses said like, yeah, he used to go to concerts in the 90s or like early 2000s where you would have to go to a spot and it would be in like LA and they'd say, okay, well now you have to go down here to like Santa Ana. And like, so yeah, you'd get to the spot in LA, they'd be like, okay, here's this address. You'd go to like Santa Ana and then you get another address and then you'd go all the way out to like San Bernardino. And they'd be like, okay, go to the building fucking 3 blocks down. It's on your right. It's this and this. And you pull up there and they'd check you. They'd check your ID. They would make you take like a hit of Molly or do cocaine or like gum some cocaine. And then they would be
He's
like,
cool.
yeah, exactly. To make sure like you weren't a cop. And then they would be like, okay, now go next door.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And it would be like super ghetto, super like sketchy if you started a fight. Like people would pull out knives and guns and shit.
Yeah, yeah. It was never part of that, but I was like early 2000s, like the first real big like commercial electronic song was like Alice DJ, Better Off Alone, and that was playing like when it was still underground. And I remember like it got played on like Kiss FM one day, and then like the next rave I went to, all the DJs were like, they play it one last time and then like crush the record and throw it in the audience.
Damn. They would just crush it and toss it out like once they were done with using it?
Too commercial, man.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's cool.
which, you take your stands where you take your stands.
Yeah.
And that was it for DJ Theo or whatever his name was.
Yeah, fuck
Huggy.
big business. Seriously. I really gotta piss. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause this and we're gonna get right back at it. All right, cool. And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us. Took a quick piss break, but we're back and better than ever. And it's late night on the DL, coming at you with Mike Spies. Thought it was Spies.
What up?
Turns out it was all lies. Speaking of lies, you run a nerdy comedy show, variety show. But you just told me that you've never seen Star Wars. Or you haven't seen the new Star Wars, and you haven't seen any of them since episode 1 came out.
Yeah, just 4, 5, 6, right?
Yeah,
That's a traditionalist.
true. It's like the OG.
I don't know. Just hadn't had the appeal to me. I probably should. It's not like I'm against it, but
Yeah. But you're into like kind of other sci-fi.
yeah, I like
Type of deals.
like post-apocalyptic stuff. I like reading sci-fi. Shout out to the Fullerton homie, Philip K. Dick.
Gay dick?
Philip K. Dick. He was like the inspiration for like Blade Runner and yada yada yada.
Okay.
Tons of stuff. I like that kind of stuff. I also like Battlestar. Yeah.
Beers,
Still,
brats.
still a nerd.
Beers, brats, and Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
You watch The Office?
I do. Yeah, I watched The Office throughout the years. Really good.
Yeah. It is a good show. I need to watch it all the way through. I've kind of just seen episodes like all scattered throughout. So I know like the whole storyline and what happens at the end because I've seen the end, but I haven't watched it all the way through.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, comedy shows. As far as comedy shows I watch, like Trailer Park Boys was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy podcasts I listen to.
What's your favorite comedy podcast?
I like Cumtown. Shout out to Cumtown.
Never heard that.
I
Sounds good though.
also like a podcast called E1. It's called Episode 1. And every show is the first episode of the podcast. So they do a new show every time with a different characters.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I haven't heard of those. I listen mostly to like the mainstream comedian podcasts, like Joe Rogan, The Fighter and the Kid, Chris D'Elia's Congratulations, a little bit of Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bill. And Joe's good too. I used to be a hippie back in the day, and we had this big protest before the second Iraq War, and I met some friends there. A buddy of mine, Jan, he was actually a frequent guest on Joe Rogan. Jan Irvin.
And you're friends with that guy?
Yeah,
Wow, that's cool. How'd you meet him?
at the protest.
Oh, at the protest.
Through a friend, Leaf, and he's actually the first guy to give Joe Rogan DMT.
Wow. So have you done DMT?
No,
No, damn.
I was like a witness once, and I was like helping like guide people. They were seeing like dark matter, and
Yeah.
one girl was having like a bad trip, and so we had to like help her, and then everyone in different rooms all started laughing at the same time. It was kind of weird.
Oh, that's weird. Like some type of like short in the simulation. Some
Yeah,
type
they
of
all
break
like
in the
psychically
simulation.
made a joke to each other to loosen the mood.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
weird.
I don't understand it, but
I believe it though. Have you ever done psychedelics?
I did mushrooms once. and I did too much, and
Mm.
kind of, you know, I don't, I was home, and I had taken a bunch, and then I don't know, I had started having a bad trip and broke my window open, kicked out the screen, broke my phone, and it was weird. I was like in the middle of the street in my boxers, like sitting cross-legged and listening to the wind chimes.
No way.
And then
Really?
my parents were at the door, and you know, I was like in my own world, and I just kept hearing Mike, Mike, and it just kept getting louder, and then all of a sudden it was like Mike, and I look, and they were looking over at me like hella pissed, and I was like, fuck. And then I was like speaking in tongues. You're bringing back the trip.
No, we won't take you back to that moment. I've had my fair share of bad trips. For me,
It's fun to bring up around Thanksgiving time with my parents. They always remind me about it. Remember that time you did too much mushrooms?
Yeah. Damn.
But yeah, then I just kind of I was in the rave scene, but then I just kind of got into drum and bass, which was like more of the have a couple beers and more like hip hop, scratch related, jungle, stoner vibe.
Yeah. Do you still play a lot?
Right now, I DJ here and there. Actually DJ'd some weddings, but not drum and bass. But I play piano, and like at one point I quit DJing and sold everything and bought like an acoustic guitar. This would bring me back to when I was a hippie.
Nice. Well, that's cool. When was the last time you picked up like a guitar or bass?
I play guitar on the regular, but I just play covers.
Nice. Do you sing
Right.
too? Or
Yeah, but to myself, like in my room.
yeah.
And lately I've been trying to play like the covers of like XXX Tentacion
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that, and some old country, Marty Robbins or stuff like that, Hank Williams.
Yeah. That's a lot of fun.
Trying to yodel.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Damn. Can you give us a little
I
taste of
got
that?
nothing.
No. Dude, one time
I have to have the song playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One time I was at an open mic and I made the mistake. It was like it wasn't even really like you were doing a comedy set. It was you go up there and then there's a panel of people that ask you questions. You know, they just start off based on your looks and they go into it from there. And I made the mistake of saying that I used to rap and freestyle with my friends in high school. And so they made me spit a freestyle. And it was okay. Like, I kind of got it, like, brought it around, but it started off just
They brought the instrumentals in.
terrible. Dude.
What instrumental was it?
Dude, this guy came on and beatboxed. Like, just another comic that
That's
was there,
old
not
school.
even a part of the show. He just came on and started beatboxing. Shout out Adam Chong. He's going to be a guest on the podcast, too.
Sick.
He became a cool friend after that night. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, freestyling. That's you gotta have some talent to do that. I always just go for like a joke. Like I'll make something rhyme and then blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden like I just try to make everyone laugh.
Yeah. I like like the ignorance in a rap of kind of like saying something really fucked up or like really, really stupid. But like the way it connects into the rhyme and the way, especially if you can keep on beat during a freestyle like that on the spot, you can make it really funny.
It's
Yeah.
a lost art.
It is. Some of the newer guys are getting better at it, but if you base it off something like the Double XL freestyle,
No,
it went from something that was really cool to something that was just overhyped, scripted, kind of annoying type of raps that were just like based on the culture that's around rap right now, like the mumble rapping, and a lot less of the sorry, a lot less of like the philosophical, like conscious rap, where it really used to be in the early days of rap. There was like NWA, but then there was like the KRS Ones of the world.
KRS, yeah, spits truth, still does.
Still does he goes to schools and stuff and does lectures.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch those?
Just little clips.
Nice. Yeah.
You?
Yeah. I haven't in a while, but when I first got onto like that conscious rap, those were some of the I knew about KRS One's speeches before I listened to his music.
Okay.
Because it was like he stopped dropping music in like '05, and I didn't really, or maybe even before that. But I didn't even start really listening to music until like 2009. I got into it really late. I was like 12 years old before I really started listening to music.
Okay. What was your first album?
Dude,
CD?
the first song that I ever had, I think it was on like my iPod Nano. Like I didn't even like listen to YouTube songs or anything before I got a iPod, and it was Forever, the Drake song with Kanye West, Eminem, Lil Wayne.
Oh shit.
It may not mean nothing to y'all. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what like put me on to Eminem, because he obviously killed harder than anybody on that song. And then I kind of just only listened to Eminem for like all of my middle school years, and then like leading up into the high school. I got a lot more into like the LA West Coast type, like Compton raps, and even the Bay a little bit.
Cali is active. Who you like from the Bay?
Dude, Too
Andre
Short.
Nicotina? Too Short?
Too Short was always like someone that I knew about and had heard the songs of, but never knew who he was until he put out a song with Wiz Khalifa, On My Level.
Okay.
That was the song that used to just come on my...
You like Mac Dre?
Mac Dre, I love Mac Dre. I like...
E40?
E40's cool. I've never really got into E40 like specifically, but I like a lot of songs that he's featured in.
Yeah, it's funny. I moved up to the Bay for a little bit, and I lived in Daly City, and we had all these like neighbors that we hung out with in this apartment complex, and it was mostly like Filipino, West Side Daly City people, and they always used to give me and my brother a hard time because we were just like listening to Bay Area rap, and they're like, you guys still listen to this?
Damn. Yeah.
It's like Andre Nicotina, Mac Dre. Yeah, just trying to, before the Warriors were like a dynasty.
Yeah, way before it. Damn. Probably my favorite song that ever came out of the Bay was, it's called Smoke Dope and Rap.
Yeah.
By, the album was like the new Jim Jones or something. I forgot.
I think that's Andre Nicotina.
Is it?
Yeah.
Dre Dog.
Yeah.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
Huh. That's like my favorite song that ever came out of the Bay.
Yeah.
Damn. So that's who that is, Andre Nicotina.
Skinny 6'5", motherfucker.
Yeah. If you didn't know me, you would think I was a clucker. But I'm not a clucker. I'm a dodger and a ducker.
There we go. Respect.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Keek to Sneak was good.
Don't know who that is. Wish I did. No.
Yeah. Bookmark it.
I will. And then there's like random songs that I have on my phone that I don't even know. Like UWI, I think, is one of them. And it's like, or Juice or Guice, whatever his name is. It's like, it's an everyday thing in the Bay. So, fuck, I don't know.
Dig it.
And Juice is down with the Mexicans. And that's all I know from the song. But it always comes on and I always bang that.
Good shit.
Yeah. Did you ever hear about this drug? It was called
Crocodile.
Crocodile. I was gonna say crocodile, but Yeah, is that what it was called? Crocodile? Because it's
Crocodile.
spelled weird with a K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You heard about that where people were just shooting it up like heroin and their flesh was rotting?
Yeah, they were, becoming almost zombie-like. Same with fentanyl.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time bath salts like really went viral, like public? The guy in Florida, who like was chewing a guy's face off and the cops shot him a bunch of times and he didn't go down. Was that bath salts or PCP?
I think it was bath salts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a super soldier
Mm-hmm.
type.
Yeah.
Yeah, that keep on running at you.
Yeah. That must have been terrifying for cops. I've heard crazy things that cops have had to deal with, and like war vets that have come home with stories like a little girl was running at you with like a popped grenade in her hand. Uh, I know a lot of stories from like Vietnam. That kind of shit happened actually pretty frequently. But imagine actually shooting somebody and they're still coming at you. That's like those dreams. Do you ever have the dream where like you're trying to punch somebody, but you can't? Like you can't punch. Have you ever had
No.
that? I've heard it's kind of a common thing. It happens to me, or it used to happen to me pretty often. Now
I
in my
have the
dreams,
yelling
full
thing
control.
where I try to yell, and then I wake up and I'm like,
Yeah,
and then it.
I've had that. Not as frequently, but yeah. Dreams are weird, dude. Do you remember your last dream? Like, did you have some type of nightmare or, like action dream?
I dream a decent amount. I started a while ago. I was doing one of those dream journals,
Mm-hmm.
and then it turned into like this waking life thing where I could like become aware that I'm dreaming, and then it just got too weird, and I was like, I threw the dream journal away.
That's really interesting. Was it like this conscious, like you felt some type of like negativity coming from the fact that you were doing the dream journal, so you had to get rid of it? Or was it like, okay, well, I'm just not going to do this anymore, fuck it, and throw it away?
The dream journal, it was set up to where you're writing down all your dreams like as soon as you wake up, because if you don't write them down right away, like within 10 seconds, you're going to forget it. And then after a while of doing the dream journal, you look for connections, things that repeat. And then once you find that connection, a person or a thing or a place, you kind of ingrain that in your mind. And then when you're in the dream and you see that person, you can tell yourself, okay, this is a dream. This is a dream. You can like do little tricks like plug your nose and try and breathe. And then if you can still breathe with your nose plugged, then you know you're dreaming. So after like
Wow.
getting to that point,
That's crazy.
I just had too many things where it was like, I don't know, it got too weird. And I'm like, I'm already weird enough. I don't need to try.
Yeah. Yeah. I read this thing about, because I would have these like crazy nightmares, like 5 in a row. Like 5 nights in a row, I would have like a very distinct, weird nightmare. And every time this would happen, I would start to do research on like what causes bad dreams, what does this mean, what does that mean? Taking it all with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of people just trying to trick you into thinking they're like some type of psychic or they know what's going on in your head, when really we have no idea what dreams are. But I stumbled upon this I think it was a speech by a philosopher, and he was saying that recording your dream actually puts like a weird strain or like pressure on your consciousness or your subconscious, where instead of allowing the dreams to happen, and then be released, like you would keep them forever, like in your mind. And even if you wrote it down once and never looked at it, it would kind of like stick in your mind, because that's one thing maybe you've noticed this about writing comedy, is that when you actually physically write it down on a piece of paper, it's a lot easier to remember your train of thoughts as opposed to writing it in your notes on your phone. I don't know. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, for sure. I can see that definitely about the dreams that, yeah, maybe by writing them down, that subconscious kind of can tell that it's being watched, or, like kind of how like scientists do studies, and then if something knows it's being watched, it changes the behavior.
True.
But yeah, I definitely agree about the comedy stuff. Like writing it down is like the most important thing.
Yeah.
You forget so many jokes just driving home
Mm-hmm.
that like you're laughing on the drive home, and then you get home and it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens to me a lot. But the theory behind that whole dream spiel I was giving was that your brain is going through these dreams in attempt to cleanse your mind of certain thoughts or certain attitudes towards things. And when you write it down, it locks it up in the back of your subconscious, as opposed to like letting it go to the trash and then be deleted. You know what I'm saying?
Into the ether.
Yeah. Like that's what the dreams are for, is to like cleanse your mind. But when we write them down, we actually interrupt the process that your brain's naturally going through, which would make a lot of sense to me, because I feel like we don't know really anything about our dreams. And I feel like us trying to assume certain things this way or that way just kind of highlights our ignorance towards it. Ignorance towards like the spirituality of it, or like the even just like the evolutionary like goals of dreaming. You know?
Well, yeah, it's very weird part of being human.
Yeah.
Evolutionarily, and just in the human experience.
Yeah. And even just the awareness of the dream. Anyway. That's
Are
a
we
whole nother thing.
Are we dreaming right now?
Yeah. We are. We are. I feel like once you reach like a certain level of like highness or like drunkenness,
Yeah.
you become like this floating head, like this talking head that really has no idea what it's doing and no idea, like no awareness of itself, and is just flowing. Does that make sense?
Seems almost like you don't feel like yourself, and you don't feel like human.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like,
This is heavy.
yeah, you act like someone different than you normally would. I've seen people completely change their personality, and not even after like getting drunk, but like getting like once the alcohol reaches a certain level in their system, like they become a totally different person. And I don't know what that has to do with dreaming, so don't ask. But I just feel like there's some type of connection between your conscious and your subconscious in the way that it acts when you have no control over it. That's kind of what I'm saying. Because have you noticed that in your dreams, you act out thoughts that you would normally have, that you would normally hold back in public if you knew you were like conscious? Do you ever find yourself like oh, I could just throw this rock through this window?
Oh, like GTA or something, like
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where your brain is kind of just like, oh, I could steal this car real quick, or like, I don't even know.
I've never
I don't even
stolen
know.
a car in my dream.
I've become a car in my dreams, bro. My dreams get weird. I become a flying car one time, and I was like in control, where it was like almost a lucid dream. But my problem with lucid dreams is, once I get in control and realize it's a lucid dream, I have about like a very brief period of time where I can do whatever I actually want and be like myself in the dream when I wake up. Then like to when I wake up. Like it's almost the awareness of the fact that I'm in a dream that wakes me up. Whereas like when I'm unconscious in the dream and I'm like kind of like myself floating outside of my body, watching me act a way that I normally wouldn't, that keeps me in the dream longer. It's almost like an interest and a curiosity to like how I would act if I could control the world. Because sometimes in my dreams I'm in total control of a lot of things around me, but I'm not myself. I'm like outside of myself. Ah, dude, we just got so deep.
You're a good dreamer. You're a better dreamer than me.
My boy Buddha watching over me.
That's the fat Buddha. He's different, right? Different than
Yeah. It's a
Siddhartha.
common misconception of the Buddha is that he was fat. He really, actually,
was extremely obese.
no, he was really skinny. This is a lot closer to what the Buddha would have looked like. I'm trying to show it in a way that you might actually see it. Can you hold this? Feel how heavy this is. That's a nice piece, but that's more of what like historians actually think Buddha looked like. This is more of like symbolism. Well, not only that, but there was more Buddhas. There was supposedly thousands before actually Siddhartha. His name is Siddhartha Gautama. Before he existed, there were supposedly thousands of Buddhas, and there's been some since. But this is what they believe he actually looked like. He's a very thin man. The
This
symbolism,
that thick Buddha.
yeah, the symbolism is like, I'm not gonna say that I know this for sure, but I would guess that it's more of a Western idea of the Buddha being a super happy person. You know how they make Santa fat? Yes,
Santification.
exactly. Like they made Santa super fat because he's ho ho ho. He's just a happy, jolly guy.
This guy's for sure jolly.
He's very jolly, dude. You know, dude. One time in elementary school, I called this kid. Dude, me and this kid were in a huge fight.
No.
I actually know him to this day, and I was fat. I was a fat kid, but he was also fat, and I was unaware of my fatness. So I called him Santa Claus one time, and he went and like told his mom. He was all upset about it, and she pulled up on me after school with him in the car crying and rolled her window down and was like, "Hey, what are you saying about my son?" And I didn't know what jolly meant. I thought it meant happy, so I went, "Oh, he's just jolly," but it turns out jolly actually is just another term for a fat, happy man. I didn't realize it entailed like the fat part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was such a big.
Jolly has been, text a tip. If someone calls you jolly for bullying.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was like that. I had no idea. So I apologize. And if you're listening, you know who you are. He does. If he is listening.
He is.
I hope he is. Dude, if you're listening to this, and I'm not going to say your name on here, but I really hope you are, and I got love for you, bro. We're still friends to this day. We don't really talk or text, but yeah, we have some history. Goes back.
Text him Merry Christmas.
No, I don't do that. Even my friends will text me like Merry Christmas, and I won't even text them back sometimes. Like, we have a whole Snapchat group message, and like there's like 13 people in there, and like 10 of them will all say Merry Christmas, and there's like some of us that just won't look at it and like won't respond.
Cold,
Dude, fuck you guys. If I kick it with you on the regular, then Merry Christmas, dog. Like, you already know how I feel about you. I don't need no gay shit. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Oh, man. Damn, dude. We're at like an hour and 12. Hey, I got one. We can wrap it up soon. But Have you ever had some type of like a catfish experience? Have you ever watched Catfish and had anything kind of relating to that?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I have seen the show, and I wish I had seen it sooner.
Oh man, that's a good sign for this question.
But yeah, I had an early catfish story before I even knew like the term catfish. Um, I was kind of back on the market, and everyone told me to try online dating, OkCupid or whatever. So I made a profile, striking out mostly, but one hit, and we were talking on the phone every night, like and just vibing, just straight vibing, and it was for like a month, and it was all the telltale signs were there, like, oh, let's meet up. Oh, my mom has an emergency. I can't be there. We're in Florida randomly. We flew out this morning. We can't hang out. And so we finally meet up. She's like, she finally cops to it. And she kindly, says, meet me here in front of my house and come pick me up. And in her profile, she's beautiful, skinny, vegan, athletic, one of those bike riding types, has a name for her bike. And I go to pick her up, and she walks up, gets in the car, and it's a completely different person. She's not very good looking, hefty, and just, gets in the car. And it takes me a long time to process things, and I was just like kind of in shock at the time. And she gets in, says hi, I give her a hug, and I recognize her voice. So I'm like, maybe it's an old picture, or I don't know. She immediately cracks like a pint of whiskey and just was like, gulp, 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 gulp.
Oh, she should have handed it to you, dude. She knew what she was doing.
Puts it down and looks at me and says, I'm not a good kisser. Teach me. And then all of a sudden, she comes at me and locks mouths, and her tongue is helicoptering inside my mouth.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, what is going on? And the worst part was I still got a boner. And a visible boner. And all of a sudden, her hand comes over and she does she's like, oh, who's this?
She said, who's this?
She said, who is this?
Oh, dude.
And after that, I dipped. I was like, I gotta go. This is just. It finally hit me with my that this wasn't right, and it's.
Dude.
I gotta get out of here.
Dude,
And
that's the funniest thing.
blocked, and have never been on a like a online date since.
Damn, yeah, I would definitely not trust it after that.
You? How about you?
Yeah, dude.
Hit it.
One time, shout out fucking. Never mind. Okay, I'll explain after. Okay, so one time, I was on like Facebook Messenger, and I got a message one time, and it was from this gorgeous girl, and we had like this whole conversation, and then she basically was like, "Would you send me a nude?"
Oh no.
And I was like, no, because like that's a very like I've never seen the conversation escalate from something like so genuine, I guess, to something like send me a dick pic. Usually, if you're starting off with like flirting, then okay, like ask for a dick pic. I might ask you for tit pic. I've actually never really gotten a tit pic unless, like, except from some of my girlfriends. So I'm not into that type of thing. And so I was like, no, you first. You send me one first. And they were like, no, I'm not going to send you one unless you send me one. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, dude, maybe I should. And like, dude, this chick's super hot. Maybe she sent me like some nice pictures. And I stuck to my guns, and I was like, no, you first. And then after a while of
Smart.
kind of like arguing back and forth, she was like, okay, are you with anybody? And I was like, I lied. Actually, I was like, I'm with my friends, duh, and like so and so. And they were like, okay, well, make sure they're in the room to see this. And so I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, make sure you show your friends this, that you're getting this right now. And I was like, okay. And she was just like, are you ready? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, she sends, I get this picture, and it's my homie bent over with his balls tucked between his legs, like just from the back, in a house that I recognized. And yeah, so I was so glad I didn't send a dick pic, even though that would have been so funny for them to have
Almost.
gotten that.
You got like that's the Monte Teo. You got like
Oh
Monte
yeah, like the
Teo.
fake girlfriend. Like yeah, I got this chick. She sends me pictures a little bit. They're kind of weird though. She has more of like a
Her private parts kind of look like balls.
yeah. It's not really like a vagina. It's kind of like part of your dick, you know.
Damn.
Yeah.
The letdown of the year.
Dude, I was so upset because it was gorgeous. But looking back on it, I was in like 6th grade. Looking back on it, I never would have even like given it the time of day because the picture was like obviously taken off of like you looked up fucking hot girl on Google and you picked the first picture. It was like one of those.
Yeah. So the head scratcher.
Yeah. Just like
Yeah,
stupid shit. You might be
I've
susceptible.
never sent a nude.
I've
The
nev- I've
closest I got was like a selfie in the bathroom with like a wife beater on, but it was like my bathroom's shitty. It's like a warehouse bathroom,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
crumbling walls and.
Yeah.
But it looked cool.
I used to have a
Put
really
my chain on,
really
but I still
Fucking
didn't send it.
Eminem style.
Yeah,
Fucking
fresh cut in the eyebrow.
yeah. Yeah. We're almost at an hour and a half, dude. That went by fast.
Yeah, they always do.
Yeah. The point of this podcast is I want to show people who are interested in going down a lane as rigorous and as excruciating as comedy, such as like acting, rapping, producing, stuff like that. The whole point of this was that I wanted people to get to know what it takes to be someone in that type of industry. So I want to at least leave with a little bit on what inspired you to be like, hey, fuck it. I got it's hard for me to go on stage, but I know I have something to say. What took you from like being just an average person to being somebody who wants to go on stage and laugh? And then beyond that, what does it take to kind of get into a show? Maybe you didn't start with those guys, but what do you know? What have you learned from them as far as like running a show?
Oh, that's a good one. I'd have to say first and foremost, like getting to know your material and being confident in it, and having also in the same part of your brain having a I don't give a fuck attitude, like it's gonna be what it is, and I think it's funny, but you might not, and I don't care. And also, I do think like some of the best moments have been like you might not think it's a big deal, but like after a show, if someone, I've had a ton of times where people come make comments like great set, or give you a compliment, and it does wonders towards sticking it out, because there are a lot of times where you want to give up, or you're just like tonight I don't really feel like being like funny or laughing myself. Why should I make other people laugh? But those comments do wonders, and then just having a positive attitude towards yourself and thinking of it as a craft, and that builds confidence. And then like running the show, having a solid spot where, like you said, like the bartender is awesome, the owner's awesome, and the people you run the show with are, creative types too that, will push you. Like you might not, feel like doing a show a certain way, and someone pushes you and says, let's get together, let's meet up, let's do this, and it does wonders. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does.
But keep pushing, REO Speedwagon, style.
Yeah.
Keep pushing.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, thank you, Mike, for coming on the podcast. Glad to have you on, bro.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't too far of a drive for you to get out of here.
I got to drive by like my favorite golf course, Diamond Bar.
Oh, you golf a lot? Oh, we got to talk about this for a second. Sorry. You golf a lot?